Good to go.
All right, I'll call to order the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting at the Lisbon Village Hall on Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 at 5:01 p.m. Roll call, please.
Trustee Moonen,
Present and chairing.
trustee Beal here, member Jane Miller here, Joe Everly,
Here.
Dan Pless,
Here.
engineer Lysis,
Here.
administrator Green,
Here.
deputy clerk finance Lisa Trumper here, and clerk Capaza to record the minutes. DPW director Wilakowski is absent and excused.
Thank you. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3 is citizen comments. No one's in the gallery. Anyone virtually?
Nope, no one present on Zoom.
All right, last call for both. Hearing none. Item 4, agenda meeting minutes, the meeting minutes from September 17th, 2025, 5 p.m. is presented in your packet. Any questions, corrections, comments, or motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion made by Mr. Everly,
I second.
seconded by Lynn Beal. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, Department of Public Works, DPW Director Wilkowski's out. I'll read the report unless you want to, Dan.
No, go.
All right. September 2025. For the Highway Department, they continued to boom mow and cut back the right of ways. I think that'll be the last sweep through the village for the year. Asphalt and dirt restoration at the cross culverts recently replaced. Addressed 2 plow trucks. I don't want to read this. Addressed 2 plow trucks and dropped them off at Burke for plows and wing repairs. So that means it's imminent for snow. Mastic manholes and water shutoff valves on Richard Road. Appliance and electronic recycling event. If you guys didn't have a chance to go to that, it was well organized and well attended. So thanks to DPW staff for organizing that. Sussex borrowed our excavator with a helper for their brush pickup. Just your normal truck repairs and tree trimming. In the parks, they did mowing and mulch beds. Also did the Lisbon Community Park Trail. It's good to see the new baseball diamond construction has been done or begun. Do you have a done date, Dan?
I don't. Mike is gonna reach out to him today because they have to get the concrete pads ready for the bleachers and they want to get those assembled soon. So hopefully we'll hear more by the end of the week.
All right. As far as Nick goes, 2026 budget turned in. We already discussed that. New plow truck, and also met with Richmond School with both and performed pump tests and retrieve readings and information on the lift station. They had 2 more cross culvert failures. I know one they were banging out today, so that's probably where he's still at. So we had town line north of Wire, south of Lisbon was closed today. Should be opening 5 minutes ago if they are on schedule. Any questions for DPW?
No.
All right. Moving on to utility. We'll do engineer. Mitch, welcome to our committee.
Thank
It's been a
you.
long time.
Love it.
Welcome back.
Appreciate you guys having me. So just briefly gonna touch on Don's report. For the month of September 2025 flows, the flows for the month of September continue to come down after the amount of rain that we had received in August. I could touch on each of the lift stations specifically. So Janine Lift Station had roughly 3,000 gallons per day the month of September, which is down from the 58,000 that we had in the month of August. Plainview Lift Station That had 33,000 gallons per day, the month of September, and it was down from 55,000 gallons. And Willow Springs is also down, on an average, let me see here. Willow Springs flow for the month of August had an average flow of 35,000 gallons per day compared to the 119 thousand gallons per day in the month of August. He mentioned in there that there was a couple days that they missed some readings. There was some communication error that was happening. So for those days, they just took the average flows that were happening for the other days of that month. Even though those flows are down, what he wanted to also reiterate is that those flows are still higher than what they have been historically for the years of 2023 and 2024.
Can I just interrupt you for a second? It says, one of those months is wrong. Is it August and September? It says August and August.
I think it's supposed to be September.
I'm sorry, it's supposed to be September. So that you're saying Willow Springs
Yeah,
for the month of September, it should be.
okay. Just did that to see if I read it.
Yep, you are correct, Joe. Thank you. And then moving on to Richfield School Lift Station, for the most part, I'm sorry, Richmond. We play a lot of basketball at Richmond and at Richfield. Anyways, so in September 2025, lift station had a total runtime of 75.2 hours. What we found out though was between the two pumps, we kind of have a good average going between the two pumps. So it means that those pumps are cycling properly. That runtime is up from previous months, but that's due to school being in session. That's kind of basically the same situation with the well itself as well, where we're up to 49,100 gallon usage for the month of September, which was up from the 12,800 in August. So again, just because kids being in school. That being said, those trends are normal from previous years, so. In general, so both the fire station well and Casey's well, those essentially are on average, and also comparative to historic data is also the same too. So no concerns for either one of those.
Yeah, well, it just got replaced at the fire station, right?
Yes. Well, they're supposed to have been.
Any other questions?
I guess absent of 6A, does anyone have questions regarding the report?
No.
All right, Dan, special projects?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I got.
Thank you.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we received a couple of phone calls from Twin Pine Farms regarding requests for stop signs to be put in at some of those cross intersections. There's no stop signs currently in Twin Pine Farms. So Nick and I reviewed these requests, and we think they're legitimate just based on the fact that you've got another subdivision to the south in Lake Five Farms that's coming in, that they're going to connect to those roads. But what we'll do is we'll wait on the HOA to determine whether they vote yes or no to do it, because they're gonna have to reimburse us for the signs that we put in. So they're gonna meet and then let us know, and if they're fine with it, there's two intersections that are cross intersections that have no traffic control whatsoever. So we'll plan on doing either a two-way or four-way, depending on how the HOA determines. And we'll reach out to the police captain on this too, just to make sure that she can give her recommendation on those. There was another intersection that was near Stony Hallquist. There's a Sussex subdivision to the north, and there are also two cross streets with no signage. We were looking at potentially putting a four-way there, and then we changed it to potentially doing just a two-stop sign going north and south. We checked with Sussex. They said they don't want stop signs there, so we aren't doing anything about that one. That was just one complaint, but we looked at it, it made sense, so. We have one gentleman who lives off Silver Spring Road, this is a separate issue now. He has a septic system that's failed or failing. And his land doesn't perk for a new system. Or a mound system, and so he wants to be hooked up to sewer. The issue we have is we don't have a sewer main that runs in front of his house, but he is in the sewer service area. Sussex has a 16-inch PVC sewer pipe that runs along there. So I talked with Jeremy, there is potential for Sussex to hook him up to their sewer main. It would count against our capacity, but he's a Lisbon resident, so that would make sense. So that Sussex is looking at potentially doing this with our approval. But they have water and sewer connected to every user, or I believe so, right? I don't think you have sewer without water. So he'd also have to get water, and the water main is on the south end of VV. So you would have, and there's a gas, an email from Don about this, but there's also a gas main that's there, so that cross connection or that cross boring might be a little tricky with that gas. So we're working out logistics right now. I don't know what the time frame is of this gentleman as far as how soon he needs to be hooked up, but I just wanted to make you guys aware of it, that this might be an emergency connection. Yes.
They just determined that it's a failed system by the county?
I don't know. I haven't seen the county letter. He called me late last week, just looking frantically for options, because he said he doesn't have any other option, so.
His address again?
Um. I'll give it to you. I don't want to give it to you.
Oh,
Open meeting, but
okay.
I'll give it to you after.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
So would that work out logistically that we would bill him or Sussex would bill?
That's what I asked Jeremy, and that was one of the other things he has to look into and get back to me, so. I would think we would bill for sewer just like we do everyone else, but water, they might, because it's their customer, they might bill
Yeah.
directly, so.
I just don't wanna, whatever works out easier for you and for him is fine with me. I'm just don't wanna start something that we may.
Well, and I don't know, there's 5 other homes down that stretch too. So
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
he's
what I'm
gonna say,
getting
hey,
at.
do we have to connect all of these? So there's still more questions to be had. I just wanted to make you guys
Yeah.
aware of the situation and.
Good.
I mean, we have water customers that get direct bill from Sussex, so.
I know. But what I was more worried about without looking at the, the system map is how many more people in that stretch, because it's not gonna be just one.
It'd be five more people, but they have the sewer main right there, so
Okay.
it would be up to the customer to then. Either pay Sussex back for the connection or do the actual connection, the lateral to the main, so. And I don't know what Sussex rule is on that.
Can I ask you, years ago, when everybody got connected in 1990, once it's past your house by state law, they had a year to hook up. Is that no longer?
No, it is not.
When did they change that?
Probably right after that 1990 timeframe, because then was up to the communities to decide how they
Oh,
wanted to.
okay.
implement
Yeah,
it.
I've heard some are a year, some are 10 years. It just depends.
Maybe it was like between 94 and 96-ish.
So there's nothing that the town has that I'm even aware of.
We have, I thought we had.
Yes, we have a
policy, but-
connection
Yeah.
in our.
A mandatory connection? Yeah.
But since it's Sussex's pipe and not ours, it would.
Sure. I understand, okay. And can I ask you, because I know I was called by a homeowner regarding the big dump trucks coming in their subdivision, coming through Lisbon subdivision to get to Sussex, the dump truck.
Yep.
Companies were told to go on their roads, but they weren't doing that. There was they tried to block the street a little bit, but the dump trucks got out, the drivers and moved it and then moved it back again. So I guess, I know that they're really frustrated and I talked to you about this. Is there any update at all?
So Captain Panis said that they had somebody out there Monday. I think it was Monday for a couple of hours, and so they saw some of the trucks go by. And then asked them to not take that route. So I'm hoping that that starts spreading the word, but.
That was done before, from what I understand.
Well, these were actually officers and not residents that were.
Okay.
So maybe that made a bigger impact.
From
but-
what I understand, the residents have pictures of these dump trucks coming past their house and, okay, thank you.
Anything for Dan?
No,
6A, discussion and necessary action regarding attorney opinion on options for ongoing I&I issues. The senior packet. Dan solicited the attorney. And Ms. Daniel, I'll give us the highlights of it.
I mean, so basically, yes, we can. I did talk to Mike Sargent regarding the mobile home park specifically, and he stated that their agreement for capacity, they have ample capacity even with these high flows, that they're still paying well above what that capacity would be in order for us. We're not losing capacity, they're paying for it, basically, is what he said. So we can still go after them, but the fact that they're paying for the capacity that they're using, I don't know what, you know, what rights we have to go after them for that if they're within the amount that they're paying for. So
as long as it's not taking our,
Pardon me?
as long as it's not cutting into our purchase capacity.
Yes.
yeah, they have their own separate agreement for capacity, and based on the flows that we're seeing, they still have more capacity than what they're using.
So they've never gone over it.
Not that I'm aware of. I'll check with you. The one time they may have was maybe in, what was that, August this month with the heavy rainfall, so I can run those totals through what contract they have and see if they even got close and then turn it from there, but.
Okay.
The other one would be Richmond. Richmond, they're paying for whatever capacity or whatever they're putting in. That one's gonna be more the issue of capacity down the road when, I know we have capacity for that area and we don't want them to be using scratch and limiting on what we can put over there. I don't. And I don't know if Don can maybe give us an update or, you know, exactly how high they are going over like what we would expect them to.
I'll have him find out and report back to you on that.
It's one thing to be within the allotted capacity, but there is, the other part of your ordinance is that you need to keep your own private systems in good repair.
Clearwater.
And I think I think it's our obligation to the community to make both of these entities aware that there is significant I&I coming into the system, and maybe not give them a definite time frame, but to make them aware that we expect them to start preparing to make those repairs. Whether it's, you know, budgeting funds or getting consultant involved or
Sure.
televising their systems. I know Richmond's a little bit different than the mobile home park, but I think it's still a worthy thing to pursue with them, to make them aware. I don't even know if the mobile home park is aware of what their flows look like.
I agree.
They I don't know if they know what their flows look like. They definitely know they have I&I.
Okay.
Did you say that they have a separate agreement with Sussex for the mobile home park? Or
Yeah,
capacity?
they have a set dollar amount they pay for capacity I believe it's with Sussex.
So
it's
it
like
doesn't
20
go through Lisbon.
It still goes through us. They pay us the amount and then we pay it.
I'm just wondering what that agreement looks like, and if it's our responsibility or are we a party to that agreement?
Is that something we can get from Mike or Sussex, whoever
Yeah.
maintains that? I mean, I thought Mike turned over all the files already.
Yeah, they're all on.
Mhm.
talked about.
I mean, I would think that flow goes through the land and interceptor.
Right.
They go into Sussex.
Mhm.
So this may be a rat's nest to straighten this whole thing out. Well, we'll have to take a look at the.
It could be, but I mean, either way, the James point, we can at least make them aware of it. For now, like I said, the mobile home park is already aware of it, Bruce is already aware of it, but.
Because they're not gonna do it unless we give them notice.
I don't think they're gonna do it unless.
And if we wanna lay that out as something too, you know, say you've got whatever, if we wanna say 18 months, and if you don't do anything in 18 months, then the village will start to pursue to do it and then charge it back. or
It's gonna be a very expensive endeavor.
Yeah, and I think to the attorney's point, we just have to prove that the INI issue exists. And I think just based on the, so, Don sent him over, I think all the flows in the past year and showing those spikes. And I think that was enough for him to come up with this opinion.
I think part of his point was if we have any other customers that have INI, we need to pursue it with all of them and not just.
Yeah, we
those
have
two
to be
entities.
fair. I just don't know if we have any other issues to the extent of these two.
Just because they're so easy to.
Well, I mean, usually when we find out we have INI on residential customers, it's because of lateral collapse.
Or some pump.
Or they're
some
draining
pumps
their
are-
yard into it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
or their neighbor.
Sub pumps are tied to it.
When's the last time we sent out a letter to the customers to revisit this, to make sure that they're aware of it? It might not be a bad idea if it's been a while.
It hasn't been since I've been.
A sanitary newsletter?
Well, it could be with the bills,
Yeah.
you know,
You get a sanitary newsletter,
utility.
or yeah.
We send out utility news.
Yes, well, I don't think that's such a
Is
bad
that
idea.
something that could be placed in the envelope with the next utility billing?
It's just a flyer and you insert it.
Like a one page.
Or
Well,
even just in the
Newsletter.
fall newsletter, we could put a
Yeah.
utility section.
Or I don't know how
90% of the people won't know what
Right.
the heck you're talking about.
And even if they have it, they won't.
Yeah,
you're-
and the other ones will just.
It's still a notice.
It's a notice that's given.
How do your bills look? Is there a way to just even put that message on your bill stock?
We have a
No.
note section.
Might be
that
the
we can have.
easiest way.
You
is
think
just
you
to-
can add that much to it?
It's a good
Yeah,
square.
okay.
That might be the easiest.
It's
thing.
monthly, we could send it out. and-
Yeah.
Paragraph 2 is coming next month.
What do you mean, next quarter?
Or quarter, yeah. All right, any questions? I mean, do we want to leave this on there?
Yeah, leave it on here. I'll get the agreement set. Between whoever that is, the capacity, and then, we can maybe next time discuss some items that we, either whether it's on the bill or if it's a separate piece of paper.
When's the next quarterly bill?
We just got it.
Okay.
I
so
think We just
Jan-
made ours this month.
I would
January?
say just maybe
General.
once or
Mhm.
twice a year, maybe like the. Like the March or April bill. I wouldn't wanna put it with the same time as they're getting their tax bill, because they probably won't read all those inserts, but if you do it with the quarter or maybe summer.
And I don't know if I can bring this up here, because we're talking to Dan, I was just wondering. I know in the past, there's been a lot of residents who do not pay their bill on time. They wait until the end of the year and we charge them a small amount. And is there any way that we can encourage them by maybe increasing that amount a little bit to pay their bill on time every month?
What?
Because at the end of the, why?
No, I said, just hearing that one, wait, we'll lump that into 6D if that.
Oh.
6 year, yeah.
Perfect, we'll wait, thank you.
Hold your thought.
All right,
All right. We any more on 6A? All right, 6B, discussion necessary action regarding status update on lift stations. Dan, you're gonna run that one?
I think that was in,
That was a
Okay.
Don item, and I did not receive any packet materials for that. I think he was just going to give a verbal status update.
just put it on for next.
Yeah, well,
Yep, I'll continue that to next month.
6C, discussion necessary action regarding sewer service area amendment. This is a continuation that we have on there monthly now. Dan, you have any news for the?
Not really, I know, Ludwig is doing the work, he's examining the lift stations at Richmond, and kind of examining that force main right now. And trying to come up with. Backup plan. But otherwise, it's. Gonna be on target that I have.
All right, any direction for Dan or questions that we can report back for next month?
Are you talking about the sewer area amendment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Discussion necessary action regarding possible future updates to sewer service code. You see in your packet, chapter 32 is continuation of the red lines, so, I think the new stuff was in yellow, right? Page 12, I think I saw.
Yeah, that was added. Yes. And then just the minor, one word tweaks are all in red. I think that one paragraph must be closed. There's also a highlighted section on page 9 as well. But that's highlighted as red.
The 9, under sub 5. The village for all grinder pumps provided and installed by the former sanitary district on or before July 1st, 2020. They'll maintain, repair, and if necessary, replace the grinder pump subject to the following conditions.
Okay, so I think that's highlighted in red because I added a comment.
The question is, should the village only pay for a one-time replacement?
I like to say we don't pay for a replacement. We have paid in 35 years of replacement for the grinder pumps. I think the district has done their due diligence for 35 years. And I would like to see they're responsible for their own. I know it's a hot button item. That's why it was sold to Wooded Hills from years ago. I was involved in that we would pay for their grinder pumps. None of us knew it at the time. I never knew there was a grinder pump until I was on the board and all of us went, what, a grinder pump? Had no idea. And I think this is such an expensive and it's getting more and more. And I just think we're at the end of the road, folks. I think we need to be on the side of the whole district, not just 32 homes or whatever it is. It's just sort of like a well, sort of like a furnace. We all pay for our own repairs. They need to keep their own repairs and have them checked if they want. It's up to them. So this has been a very cost expense that I would like to see it off the books myself. And I know I'm the only one on the board that has sewer, but this has been an ongoing thing throughout the years. And I think it's about time it stopped. We need to look at what this is doing to the 430 some homes that are having been paid for this. So let's put it all in perspective.
Well, it's not the 432 homes are paying for this. Every taxpayer in the village of Lisbon is paying for.
Excuse me?
Every taxpayer in Lisbon is paying for. There is no utility sanitary district
Okay.
anymore.
The utility money.
No,
I don't follow you, so please tell me, Joe, explain it
Okay.
nicely.
I am explaining it nicely. There is no utility money. There is no utility district. There is no sanitary district anymore. It's the village of Lisbon. There is no separate pot of money over here that just belongs
Well,
to the.
Well, it
I think
was,
Linda is saying that the sewer customers are paying, everyone that's on sewer paying for sewer is paying for the repairs for the grinder pumps. Because it is in the sewer budget, so it's not something that we're levying from every resident and every taxpayer to pay for.
I understand and been told several times that the old district's money from these people has passed to the town, to the village. It is now the village money. Yes, I understand that. I'm not an idiot. But I just think it should not be on the backs of people online who are continuously paying for this. And especially one just came up where something went out in the toilet and we still paid 3/4 of the bill, which is against our code, which I was not real happy with. They need to be on their own and start paying.
Well, actually, that worked out in the financial benefit of the entire community, because if we would not have taken an agreement, the entire burden would have been on the village, because it was a pre-2020 grinder pump. So that person graciously took responsibility for their actions, which they could have deferred back to the policy. And by the policy at the time, we would have paid 100% of it.
I think we should just take everything out there. The homeowner is, because I know. And I've been reading this, and with my eyes, I'm having a hard time reading, so excuse me. But I would like to see everyone pay for their own. I know, when we had this at the district level, I did a whole big study on what areas paid for the grinder pumps for everybody. Come on, folks, the people paid it. On the south end, there's a grinder pump for 4 people. They pay their own costs, own replacement. And I think this is getting exorbitant. So we have to start looking at the whole and not the few. And again,
So to the argument of what happens if one of the pre-2020 people come and say, well, by us having a grinder pump, we did the sanitary at the time of service by not having to force a gravity in front of our house. What do you say?
that was their option at the time.
But maybe they didn't have the option. I think the best of our knowledge, the sanitary did what they did because they wanted to be
They wanted sewer.
cost effective.
Wasn't cost, when you look back though, Mark, it hasn't been cost effective for all the residents. It's been very cost effective for the people that have grinder pumps. Yes, absolutely. But I just think after 35 years, let's be done with it. Let's change it. They're all responsible for their own and leave it go with that. We won't have to have all this extra expense we have by having Debelic in there, having the engineers in there, and there's just a lot of different stuff. And I'm probably on my own because I'm the only one on sewer. And I realized that.
It's gonna come down to a village board vote.
Okay. I'm willing to do it.
Well, we need 3.
I don't know if it's gonna make a difference tonight, but I do agree with you. I think there is a point where whether it's the change from the town to a village, or if as these properties change hands, that should go away.
Yeah.
Or give them one last one and then you're just done with it. But to hold on to this liability for all of these years, I just don't agree that should be with the village.
Thank you, Jane.
Well, and we did at the board level too, we decided accounting wise, replacement wise, like that's such a nightmare to say you get one and then continue to track all that.
Don't do it.
Well,
I
I know,
just-
but that's the discussion we had, and
Okay.
that's why this is not the way that you'd like it is.
Well, I
because-
think we talked about different things and that's what the board overall at the time. But I just think, and it's been a while since we discussed this and even having this date in here. I mean,
Is that date significant to anything?
No.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
that-
No, it was a date. It's pulled on.
Yeah,
Well, it
who
was-
pulled it out?
It was probably when the code was.
It was,
Yeah.
it was the date that the board agreed,
Yes,
and that's the date we set,
and I didn't agree with that.
so before it was into
Endless.
perpetuity
Gotcha.
until the code changed. The board at the time voted to
Gotcha.
have an end date so that it would slow I mean, in reality, we've been replacing. In the last 5 years, I think we replaced 3 or 4.
But sometimes we place a lot.
We
and
haven't though. Recently.
In
we
the past, I
haven't.
don't know, in the past we have, so we don't have any guarantee on the future, Mark. We don't have any guarantee, and you know what? Do I want to see our bills go up because people online are paying for somebody's property that's in their house? That's not fair. this last time, we decided not to have a check because it decided as a group that it wasn't, prudent to check it every year like we normally have, which I'm thrilled too, because that saved a lot of money. But I would like to see it, if this board can go on just to check it out, I would appreciate it.
Doesn't matter what this committee,
Oh, I know that.
But I think what, we're obligated to give our recommendations.
I
to-
understand, but we gave a
Village board.
recommendation the last time it went to the board and it didn't go anywhere, so all I'm saying is, I'm in full agreement with what you're saying, Linda. Believe me, but I'm just looking at reality, whether all of a sudden this comes up, it's on the board agenda,
Absolutely.
and this room is full of stuff, what they're going to do.
There's one person in particular sends out emails. I'm surprised she's not here tonight if she was looking at this. Oh yeah, expect that. Absolutely. I can't tell you how many of us were at the beginning when they were talked about. This room was full.
Well,
Did they ever listen to these volunteer people? No. So
No.
we have an obligation on our end to look what's best for the overall
I
utility.
understand.
Can I ask a little background?
Yeah.
So if this already went to the village board, then how did it get back here?
Mhm.
It's-
'Cause it was
it's-
never
well,
passed.
This is not,
This is-
this never went to the village board,
No.
what you have in front of you,
It's-
these are, it's changes that were made.
They were sitting on it, and that's the problem. She's been sitting on it for, trying to get to be a village, and I understand that. But this kind of got on the wayside, because I said, well, why don't we get at this code? Well, I got too much other stuff to do. We can't do that.
And I know we talked about it several times
I know.
a year ago, and that's why,
Yes.
and I thought it had gone to the village board for.
Nope.
A version went to it, but it was not, this is not the same thing.
No.
So the direction that Kathy was given was wait until after codification and we'll deal with it then.
And codification is how long down the road?
Already done.
Okay, well then,
It was, codification was completed a few months ago.
okay, perfect.
But there's additional things that have to be added onto what is in front of us tonight.
Yes.
But some of those things can't be determined until we get through the sewer service area. So I'm not disagreeing with you, Linda. I
Thank
believe
you.
wholeheartedly, but I'm just looking at reality.
Okay, I admit that I did not get a chance to read this yet again, so I don't have any additional comments tonight, so.
Okay.
Not that I wanted to make it a granted fund thing, but just obviously no undue taxation is needed or fees, but in last year's budget, the grinder collective cost was less than 1% of the entire budget. It was 0.8%. So figure out what 0.8 of a user
But
fee
that's
is,
last year.
and it's, yeah,
In
it's.
years, all over. Okay.
And-
add up
and
in
la- and
35
this
years,
year?
How much does this cost?
I
Each
mean, our-
individual homeowner, how much they paid in the last 35
All
years?
right, I guess put it in perspective, what's your user fee been
165 right now.
per quarter?
It's been up as high as 220.
Right, per quarter though,
Yes,
so.
yes, and it's been as low as $85.
A year?
No, dear,
Per
every
quarter.
2 months.
Okay,
It's continuously gone up. The 1 year,
So each person is paying,
$260.
so it looks like you're paying $660 a year for user fees.
Mhm.
If it was this last year, it would have been $52. That's what.
I don't care. I understand
Well,
you're looking at.
No, I'm just putting it in perspective for
Okay,
everyone.
in perspective, but I'm looking this year, okay, was maybe because. I think maybe we finally hit some, when we said, there are so many problems here, we can't afford this. And people maybe are watching what they're doing. Except for this last homeowner, but anyway, I just think we need to look at it as a whole, Mark, and I would appreciate it. As a board member to consider removing grinder pump expenses, and yes, we will have people over there, it's been 35 years. We have paid and we have paid, it's gonna stop. It can't go on. I don't care if it's $52 or whatever it is. Do they wanna help us with our well? No. Do they wanna help us with our furnace? No, because it's in our house? No. So look at it that way.
I mean, if you would like, I mean, I think we could start a committee, but I don't think I think the purpose is not to do the code twice,
Mhm.
because we're gonna have another revision coming.
Yeah, we've got water and sewer potential amendments for this, depending on how the study goes with,
Oh,
Strand, sorry.
or Strand, yes.
So there's a lot of changes potentially with this, and I was just telling Jane and Joe, maybe potentially like a code committee could maybe look at this separately, so that we're not necessarily going through it at this committee,
Yes.
and we can look at the results of that and maybe do tweaks after we have a draft product. So maybe we want to look at doing something like that.
Good idea.
Um,
I'd like to be on it.
I don't know, if it just is a couple of members of this board, or if maybe throw in an engineer or something like that would be nice. But yeah, that way we're not just going back and forth on, one thing here, one thing there. I think that maybe we'll want to have, Strand's gonna give their advice on what we need to see in here for water. Both is gonna do the same for sewer, so. Otherwise, we're just kind of gonna go back and forth and still not have to finish product, but we're just go.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like 2 years probably.
I mean, we could go over the code part of it probably earlier than that. Cause you're only looking at what do other communities do, or we have to ask. So I don't think we have to wait till the end to get the code reviewed. Could be 6 months.
Input, Pam?
Probably want at least 6 months if you're looking at making grinder pump changes to prepare folks, if that's the way the board wants to go.
Well, I think the grinder pump is a big thing, so maybe if we started on that with. Either the grinder pump stuff stays here with a committee, or it goes just directly to the village board. Because it's such a big issue, we could all concur here, and then it could change there, so I guess I'll. I think I defer to you as board members and administrator, but I don't know if that discussion really. It would need much here.
You said it was recommended by this committee to the board in the past. Was that through code, or was that
Yes.
just through policy?
No, I
That was through the revision of the ordinance.
the last revision that went to the board came through this committee.
And it was denied, or it was sent back?
Sounds like they had.
It
given
was-
No
direction.
action was taken.
It was sausage.
Because of. We had to wait on.
Cause then I think we would all know what direction to move on it. And ideally, it's up to the board to make that decision, so.
Right.
I mean, if we wanted to have a simple vote here to say, okay, this is what the committee thinks. I just don't know if it really makes sense for that part to stay here for any length of time.
I agree. We got some direction from village board which way they're going to do it.
Right.
So we don't waste our time.
I agree.
We only get 37 cents a day.
Cause I think that was the most
Thank you.
controversial thing in
Yes.
here,
Thank
is
you.
that,
Thank you, Joe.
is that code.
Okay.
All right, any other code questions, concerns? I think we're just leaving this on here until.
Yeah, you might have to just keep it on there. I did have a couple of things I wanted to add, but it's so small, dropping the bucket compared to what we're gonna dismantle this thing, so. I'll leave it.
I mean, I guess if that's. I think Linda, if you feel that strongly about it, you could always bring it forward through the board yourself
I will.
and.
I have no problem doing that.
You would have to amend the current code. In a simplistic way, I
Wait a minute,
don't think it's the easiest way.
this code or the board code?
Well, this version hasn't been adopted, so.
You'd have to do a one-time change in the code just specifically for that section.
Or is there another easier way to bring it to the board besides just me taking it to the board?
That's your power, is to bring, I mean, you're gonna have to get. You can bring the item forward, obviously. I don't think the chair would stop it, but. You're gonna, and to get any action, you have to have two people bring forward the motion and.
I was just looking for direction on how the code should be written. I didn't
Okay.
necessarily mean for the code to change like next week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that. I fortunately kind of stalled with the last time I organized the board with the sanitary, utility. That didn't really take any traction because we were moving boards. So. Kind of just was a lot of staring at each other in the fire station.
If we're gonna move forward, then I would, well, unless we take a simple vote now on it or something to understand the direction we're going. That we need to have a consensus on how we're gonna move forward in the code. So if you want this board to do it, we can do it, but
Make a consensus to move toward the board? Or not change the board, change the code?
that's the question. How many of us want to change the grinder portion of the code to have the village or the utility not be responsible for it? Or just leave it well enough alone as to what it says right now?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Jana, are you asking? Does the committee have a consensus to ask the village board to weigh in on the grinder pump issue solo? Versus doing it when the code is amended?
I am asking if we are to, right now or the next meeting, if we are have a consensus on what direction to go with the grinder pump here,
Mhm.
we would then write the code that way to present to the board.
But just that part of it.
No, the whole.
As
Or the
part
whole-
of the
As
whole
part of the
code.
code.
Okay.
And I would agree, I think that would be the best way to do it. I mean, I don't know that we're in a hurry to. Fix the grinder pump issue right now, and either way, we're gonna have to do a public hearing, go through the code revision process specifically for that. Or we just get it all done, bring it forward, and then only have one public hearing, because we're gonna have to come back to a second public hearing once we go through everything that we need to change. So just do it once. Maybe in the meantime, we can get some idea of how we wanna tailor that language. That we wanna move forward, and then let the board do.
It's obvious that we're just stalled on this one issue right now and not moving or looking beyond it. So either we set it aside now till the end and look at everything else, or make a decision soon on how we're gonna move forward as a committee.
I mean, there's different options for getting, you know, I'll still stand if you wanna bring. The recommendation to the chair to put on the village board, that's your prerogative.
I don't know if that's the simplest way to do it, Dan.
There's no-
So if you bring it to the board, all they can do is discuss it. So they can't take any formal action on it because it's not amending the code. So I guess how many people do you want to bring into village board meetings? Is the question. Get a lot if you put it out there.
Are you talking about Wooded Hills coming to the board meeting? Is that what you're talking
Whoever
about?
is trying. So, yeah.
Wooded Hills.
Yeah, so, otherwise, if we can have conversations here without flooding the room with people, then maybe those meetings can be more productive.
Exactly.
And then we have a good narrative when we bring it to the village board when other people show up. So I wouldn't wanna just throw it on the board agenda, just to not have a productive conversation. The background of this and the experts on this are kind of sitting in this room in my opinion. So why don't we
I agree.
get this done here, presented to the board once it's fully complete. Like I said, we still have 2 grinder pumps on standby, so if 2 people break their grinder pumps, it's not gonna be that expensive if we have 2 ready to go. So we have some time.
It's gonna be at least a year before the sewer code is ready.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least.
to your point, I think you're gonna pack the room, whether it's
This committee. or-
this committee or the board, and at the end of the day, the board's gonna make the final decision, and
Yeah,
they're gonna hear it either way, so then, in my opinion, they might as well hear it in person at their meeting. I hate to draw a crowd and,
yeah.
have that be the focal point of a meeting, but it's gonna be, so.
Which, yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff in this code that we have to go through. That's a very small part of it. It's the loudest part of it. Unfortunately. But I don't think we're gonna make any decisions tonight. Sure. But at least I can try and draft some language or work with, our attorney or whoever to look at language that is an option.
Or maybe we should feel the board now to see how they feel. Is that a good option to do?
The board or the committee?
Because this board,
This is a committee.
a committee, I call it a board.
Yeah.
Committee board.
Go ahead.
Sure, I make a motion. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
I think we're just.
Oh, it's just a casual vote.
Okay, I'm voting to say yes, I think it needs to be addressed for 35 years. We need to give that. These people online that have been paying forever need a break, people. I would appreciate a vote to looking at it.
And my opinion is that it should be, the village or the utility should not be responsible for grinders simply because it's a liability with village staff or, our contractors working on private property. I think it's too big of a liability.
Thank you.
I don't think grinder pumps should be a maintenance item for the responsibility for the village. From some date certain going forward.
I also agree with that. I look at it kind of a different way that, I'm sitting there. I have a mount system. I have a lot of different other stuff. Something fails there. I'm
You're
paying for
wrong.
that. Oh, you got
Same thing, thank you, Dan.
It's, because in the beginning, it sounds like the agreement was that they were gonna take care of it, to have it to be able to hook up to the sewer. Is that true? Is that how it started, or?
Well, like I said, when we found out what was going on, there was a lot of hush hush going on years ago. They couldn't be more as open we are today. So when we started going to the meetings, it was a big discussion and it was very irate people out there that did not want sewer. And for certain reasons I won't go into now,
Mhm.
why we got sewer. But I was all part of that. And it's just, it was never, ever brought up at a meeting. And we went to all the meetings. Unless they had it in closed session. It was never brought up at a meeting about grinder pumps. Like I said, we were all shocked. What do you mean grinder pump? A grinder pump? What is a grinder pump? We found out after the fact. And I just think it was wrong how they initially did this. It was wrong. It was wrong how we got sewer in our area. It was wrong. That's my position. Thank you. Does that answer your question?
My position on it, I'll stick with what I've come to the conclusion 5 years ago. I think the board back in 2020 did the best that they could to mend the practices of the historical sanitary, as well as also resolve the future liabilities of the village as a whole. And I think the board at the time was in a no-win situation, and they made the best of it by introducing a sunset. And that respected the property owners of the original as well as also the future of the sanitary as a whole, or sorry, the utility as a whole, so. I still think that is the best situation. I don't think it's a huge, it is a expense to certain people, $52. Yes, I would love to have $52 in my pocket. But at the end of the day, it's not an overwhelming issue that plagues the sanitary system as a whole, so I'm still standing by what the board made in 5 years ago now.
How did it come to the board 5 years?
I'd have to go back. I thought it was required because of incorporation, we had to settle something or it might have spurred out of here. Unfortunately, we've discussed it so many times, the
I
conversations
just
all run together.
wasn't sure how it would have, how it went from being a sole responsibility of the sanitary district and then to have it.
I mean, thinking back, there was multiple versions that people argued stood in place for what the grinder pump topic was. Some people presented an old code, they couldn't find that it was adopted or not adopted. So the board thought it best to just state at the time.
Okay.
So
I just didn't understand how all that came about, so.
So when I look on page 9, okay, when I look at D, individual grinder pumps, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly and reading it correctly. That it says now, all new homeowners will pay for the grinder pumps.
yeah, which one? 9,
Yeah,
page 9, 5.
9, 1, 2, and 3. And all that, because it says determine that any building cannot achieve gravity flow. Let me see, 2, the owner of each individual property receiving public service shall install at said property owner's expense, the individual grinder pumps needed to serve said property and all necessary connecting sewers. And the 11, 3, the owner of each property, that they shall pay for it. This is in here.
That's going for,
Yeah, that's
okay,
going forward.
you know, this is not in effect.
I know that.
Okay, what I'm saying
That's
is
what
that that's
makes the
what you just read
Yes.
is for going
Oh,
forward.
yes, I understand that.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Oh, no, I just want to just to read that there, that it is in what was brought up at the time that's been was sitting on Kathy's desk.
This was not on Kathy's desk. What you had
Part of
there,
it was.
part of it was, yes,
But that,
but these revisions were not.
that, you're addressing, I think, something that's contrary to your point, though. That's for people who would need one to go forward, not people who had one that need.
I know that. It's
May-
all for,
may-
say, if you would have had to hook up to sewer, you need.
If
a
I had to hook
grinder
up
pump,
today and I've never been a sanitary
You pay for it.
person and I needed a grinder pump to achieve getting my discharge to the system, I would have to pay.
Mhm.
But so does anybody from July 1st, I remember?
2020.
July 1st, 2020.
Down,
If their pump failed today, that's on them.
okay. Let me just make sure that I understand this correctly. On or before. So it's before July 1st. Anybody who's got a grinder pump before.
So if somebody had one installed in 2018.
How about any of those people that have already had one grinder pump replaced? There's some people on there that have had a couple of grinder pumps replaced. For whatever reason, it seems kind of odd to me.
Do we know that?
Yes, yes,
I don't doubt you. I just don't know that our records are that darn good.
they were given out, Mike gave us.
We
maybe
have
I
a,
can call.
we have a list of all the grinder pumps and when they were left.
Good, I would like, could you email that over to me, as well as all the board, the committee members here? I think there's a difference if someone's going through grinder pumps, or someone has never had a, like, someone who just, we helped, and that's what it's done with. But I'm just saying, they've never had a replacement grinder pump. Is that correct?
Well, I think you have 3 different scenarios. You have one that was installed pre-2020.
Right,
You have one that's installed post-2020, and then you have a new install post-2020.
exactly. So this is why it's so confusing. We have to get it down in writing to see what everybody can go to. I mean, this is ridiculous, this thing sitting out here for how long it has been. It's really embarrassing for our, for Lisbon, truthfully.
I don't, how many post 2020 installations of new systems with grinder pumps have we had?
I'd have to check. We had, new systems?
Yeah.
I don't know
You mean
of any.
Yeah.
I don't believe there have been any.
So,
So before 2020, you're saying there's been no replacement pumps?
no.
No, we're saying
After.
that there's been no new
No new-
customers that need a grinder pump since July 1st of 2020. So yes, they would have to pay for it and maintain it, but there hasn't been any need for anyone to put in a grinder pump.
I just think this is something we need to work through. That's all.
You're a board member, you can always, like I said, you can bring it to the board for
You can
discussion.
say that. Well, I think it's what's important is here's how we feel, because the board's
Well,
gonna.
we did
just
yeah,
say-
but it won't, you can't discuss it at the village board unless one of the board members brings it forward. So if you feel like this, what Mark is saying, bring it up
Okay,
at the board
I
level.
told you before, Dan, I'll do that. If you can tell me what I need to do, I
You
appreciate
need,
it.
you need to ask the chair, to put it on the agenda. If the chair will not agree with you, then you'll need another person. Well, actually, that place doesn't have policy yet.
That's not a policy.
I can't imagine the chair won't put it on, but you would then have to, I mean, it would come up for discussion.
Okay. I'll
People
talk to
may or may
Alpine.
not discuss it. If two people don't pick it up for a motion, you can't even vote on it.
I understand
So
that.
that's how every other body functions. All right, any other for the code? 6E, discussion necessary action regarding proposed 2026 sewer utility budget.
I handed out an updated sewer budget that's different than the one in your packet.
So
The-
we're working off, the updated one is the lower right corner number of 481,460.
Yeah.
Brother Emily.
So the minor changes, so there was something brought up at the last meeting regarding the utilities budget because it was very high in that. At the time, I think it was a 9-month actual. So there was an error in coding that changed that number down to 3616. So we're more on track with being on budget on that item. I also lowered the interest income slightly just based on, of interest rates dropping, plus we have less money in our general fund, I guess you'd call it, because of the payments that we're making to the facility work that was done in Sussex. And it's slightly lowered the audit accounting fees to an arbitrary $12,486 number, which I still think is a very accurate number, but it's also to balance the expenditure side with the revenue side. It'll probably come in around 12,000. The reason that it was 20,000 this year is because 9,000 of that was a Cassell, our accounting software that we had to purchase to actually do the utility in there. So in this year, the accounting costs were actually around 11,000. And those are the only changes.
Isn't software capital?
Yeah, but we don't have a separate capital at this point yet, so otherwise the maintenance and repair budget wouldn't look like it is here, but we're hoping by next year we can work through and actually have a separate capital item and all that.
And why can't you do that now?
We don't have the budget code set up for it, and so we'd have to set up separate budget codes for it, and so
It was because of importing everything over from Mike Sargent.
I mean, that's what we have here is basically Mike's budget from prior years. We did add some things and I did create some sub accounts that are still tied to the same account. But yeah, they didn't have necessarily a capital budget and so yeah, we'll make sure to have it next year.
I had a question on the sewage treatment expense. I guess this. Why do we have $15,000 drop in expected treatment expenses?
Just went out of what the trend was going this year and then added some, so. It's going to be. It's going to be a slight increase from Sussex. And then if there are any larger charges, they're gonna be direct costs for commercial users. And the residential ones are pretty straightforward. So if those expenses are higher. The revenue side is higher.
And so as far as the budgeted amount for residential fees, is that in line with what that rate study increase that we had from Ellers?
Yeah, I think it's slightly higher, but not by much.
Could you tell me what it is?
Was they were proposing. Problem with the Ellers study is they also were taking on $1,000 revenue for yearly year because we're gonna see the rate starting to go down to one. But then a large amount of reserves that we had. In this,
Are we picking up in this budget, part of the, since we brought the accounting in-house, picking up part of that expense or that expense?
Yeah, so. Ellers was looking at a 3% increase in just. Making up that,
Right.
but then we're also looking at a 3% increase in what Sussex is going to charge. So you're looking at, that would bring that fee to 180, and so we're at 185.
Okay,
To try and cover a
Okay.
little bit more of those costs, and not knowing what capital costs for 26 are gonna be, if they're gonna have to redo a lift station, they're probably gonna charge us for a portion of that lift station.
okay. Do you need a motion on this budget? Or is this part of your overall
I think
budget?
I
for
don't
the-
think we need a motion. I think the village board will just adopt the budget
Okay,
at the hearing.
Can I ask you something, Dan? That the commission paid the 450,000, whatever it is, and there's another one that's due 300 and some thousand. And then I was told it's a 90,000 that's due for all these upgrades. Okay, is any of the rate increase due to that?
Yes,
How much?
$5,
Oh.
$6. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's. We'll hopefully get new utility users in the next 5 years that we can start spreading the cost out to everybody. But if we don't, then it's gonna take a long time to pay that back unless we increase the rates even more.
I know when this was started, the town at the time paid for all the improvements over there. And then when we came online, we had to pay back Lisbon in our fees. That's what I myself would like to see. Hey, I know $5 is nominal. I'm not questioning that, but I'm just saying that why are the people that are hooked up? We are paying for all the upgrades that's going to, because we paid for it initially, but so, and you were gonna check on that?
I did, yeah, I talked to Wendy, our auditor. She said that technically you can use village funds to pay for it, but she recommended that you don't do that. She's
Why?
if any. Because the people that are not using the service are not. Why would people not using the service pay for maintenance on something that they are not using? So it
Are-
could be, I guess it's kind of similar to the grinder pump. question.
Right, right, exactly. But I was just kind of wondering. I know we're paying for all the upgrades that's gonna benefit all the new people coming on. So are they gonna be paying into the the utility for all the upgrades that we're paying for now?
So when you add new customers, you still get residential users, like there's residential users now. They also have to pay connection fees like you had to pay.
Correct.
And then part of their residential quarterly bill will also go towards paying back that fund. And not just them, every sewer person, it just spreads it out over more people. So,
The non-users are not gonna pay anything towards it.
what's that?
The non-users
Non-users.
will never pay anything towards those expenses.
Correct. You could borrow money from the general fund, but then the sewer is expected to pay that back, but it would be the same thing. right? So,
See, and the purpose of having our 3-person group. We decided to keep money on hand, so in case there's an issue, we don't have to go out and borrow money. But because of the utility paying this, we're gonna have to go out and borrow money, because we're paying for the improvements. Correct?
You don't have to borrow money for this.
Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that. You're using the cash that's in there that belongs to Lisbon. Okay, I have to reiterate that. But so anyway, so when we need help to say if something goes on for the users now, we're not gonna have cash there, what was anticipated to use. So we have to go out and borrow money, and the people online are gonna have to pay for that loan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
You'll have to borrow, I mean, you can
Yep.
extend that borrow over a certain amount of years so
Yep.
that new customers will then start paying off that loan as well,
See,
so.
Well, either you're gonna borrow for the treatment plant upgrades, or you're gonna borrow for anything that comes in the future. Either way, there's a borrowing.
well, there's still, I think, 1,000,003 came over. And I think it's 1,000,003. That's gone kind of down, 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 down.
Mhm.
Pretty soon it's gonna be a couple 100,000, so we're gonna have to borrow money to repair.
Perhaps in the future.
Yes, absolutely, we
So,
will.
so
No
that's why the
question.
rates are going up. We're trying to build, so the depreciation expense went from 84,000 to 100,000. I know it's not a lot of money to build, make up after, losing 700 some thousand. But it's a start. And like I said, if you get more users, the more that depreciation expense goes up to 150,000, 200,000.
So when I look at this, when it says 2025 estimated year-end costs, everything else is kind of, pretty much in line, except for the accounting fees, whatever. Maintenance repair. It was 451, now it's 818. And it went up a little bit, if I can see this right. $10,000. Grinder pump went up a little bit. Facility update went from 399 up to 769. And the Richmond School. So because of, and I don't understand why it's just $5. That's what, and I can come in and talk to you about that some
It'll-
other time.
It's a start because we don't want to shock residents, but you'll probably see that go up every year.
It's gonna keep going up for us to pay for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I don't know that charging, $200 and seeing a $40 jump in rates.
You're gonna
the
have
best way
people
to do it.
complaining, because we had a lot of people complaining at the 220 when there was some infiltration issues. Oh, the
It's-
room was full.
It's a service and we have to do a little thing, so. Whether it's full or not, we don't really have a choice.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the sanitary sewer utility budget? All right, item 7, read back of what we have so far.
All right, so coming back for November, I've got the I issue. I've got the lift station status update from Don. Sewer service area amendment is gonna be on every agenda going forward. Do you want the sewer code amendment back next month? Or are we taking this directly to the board?
No, I would, it's,
Leave it on the agenda for
we
next
like
month?
not take any action on it, so I just leave it on there for discussion.
Okay. So those are what I have. Is there anything else anyone wants coming back next month?
We need to talk about the Richmond situation, but if we can do that under Don's report. We gotta
Well,
pick
I've
up
got
that
an
discussion.
I issue line item and I've got a lift station line item.
Okay.
Does that cover it?
Gotta figure out. what that's
All right, that's all I've got.
I'll take request for adjournment,
Also moved.
made by Joe, second by
Second.
Dan. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I-
Adjournment at 6:17 by a motion of 5.